Hello and welcome to Rando Tech Info. Today my review of the M5. Is a $12 phone a viable option in 2019? Let's find out. So the first thing I want to talk about is obviously the calling card of the phone, no pun intended, because it's a card phone. Anyway, the thing I want to talk about first is the form factor. It claims to be small enough and thin enough to fit in a wallet, and it does just that. It is small enough, it is thin enough to fit in your wallet. The 1-inch OLED screen is primarily just blue and white. It's not full color, but it gets the job done for your texting purposes and seeing who you want to call. The screen is plenty bright in most situations, and that speaker that you see in the upper left-hand corner is actually loud enough to serve as a hands-free speaker if you need it to. So the phone does what it claims to do in the form of form factor, and if you're looking for a phone that will fit in your wallet, or that is small and that you can put in your pocket without basically even knowing it's there, then this phone does the job. So as far as basic functionality goes, it works. It makes calls, it sends texts, okay? As far as the texts are concerned, is it something that you're going to want to do on it a lot or do often? No. For those of you too young to remember, the only way to send a text on a keypad like this is to hit the number as many times as you need to for the letter to pop up. So for example, if you wanted the letter A to appear, you would hit the number 2 on the keypad and the letter A would appear. You would wait a second. The A would remain permanent. Then if you wanted the letter O to appear next, you would have to hit the 6 on the keypad 3 times for the O to appear, and so on. Are you going to want to make lengthy text messages on this thing? No, you're not. Is texting on this thing painful? Yes, it is, but it does work. Short yes or no answers work perfectly fine with this device. The only actual issue I had with it, with its basic functionality, with the calling, is sometimes when I was in like a metal building, like a Walmart or a shopping center, the reception sometimes was a little spotty, spottier than the smartphone reception I was getting on my regular phone. So just be aware of that in certain places it does not seem to, its signal that it picks up does not seem to be quite as strong as some modern day phones. But in my home and in most places I went, it worked just fine. So now it's confession time. This phone requires you to use a nano SIM card in it, or a micro SIM. Which one's smaller? I don't know. It requires the medium size card. I think that's actually a micro SIM. Most SIM cards today are nano SIM cards. Now I have a cute little conversion kit that I use to make a nano SIM card a bigger size card if you need to in order for it to work in a device. I used that, and unfortunately when I put it in the device one time it popped out of the little adapter. Long story short, in order to get my SIM card out of the phone, I had to break the phone. So this phone no longer functions, and in fact you can probably see a little bit of the damage right down there that I caused trying to get the SIM card out. So unfortunately I will not be giving this phone away or using it ever again. So if you're wondering why I don't give a little bit more demonstrations about how this works, that's why. The good news is I did show that this phone actually did work during the unboxing, and this is the footage. Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, you're on Rando Tech Info.
I am.
Yes, I'm testing this phone, and it actually works.
It sounds pretty good on my end.
That's crazy. So this, okay. Wow. I was actually almost expecting it to not even work. So if you saw my unboxing of this device, you would know that I was actually surprised at how many different settings and options there were on this device. There was a setting to pair Bluetooth devices, there was an FM radio, and some other things. Unfortunately, I could not get most of those things to work. When you try to use Bluetooth, it will pair the device, but then no sound comes through the device after the pairing. When I tried to use the FM radio, it said you had to plug in headphones to use the radio when there's no headphone jack on the device. So unfortunately, most of these other features either did not function or the screen was so small it made them not really realistic to use anyway. So unfortunately, it really just is a phone and emergency texting machine. So I don't want the lack of other functions on this phone to leave you with a bad taste in your mouth. It's a $12 phone, and it works as a phone, and it can send text messages. So I really don't know how much you can want. I don't think you buy a phone like this because you want to use it for really anything other than making calls or sending very short text messages. So it does what it's supposed to do. So to that end, I think it's great. If you were a parent with a small child and you wanted to give them a starter phone to see if they could take care of it or just be able to get in touch with them in emergencies, this should be able to do the trick. If you're somebody who wants to get off the grid for a while and get away from your email and get away from different things from work and just go spend some time off the grid, this phone should work. It has amazing battery life as well. I don't think I mentioned that, but the thing could be left on standby for 3 or 4 days and never run out of charge. And when you compare it to other phones that market themselves as like a dummy phone or a non-smartphone, like the Palm. Palm came out with a phone 2 or 3 years ago that was very small, had a small screen on it, had basic functionality. That thing was still $300. This is $12. So once again, I think you have to manage your expectations with a device like this. But for what it is, and for the money that it costs, I actually think it's pretty cool. I didn't know something like this existed in 2019. I'm kind of glad to see that it does. If you have your own comments about this device, please feel free to leave them down in the comments. Until next time, this is Random Tech Info, signing out.